when I think about being a public speaker, standing in front of people, it makes me sick. You know, I feel my stomach gets in knots. Like, don't you get nervous? And I really don't get nervous anymore. I don't know why. But I was like, that has never been more true than today, in that I'm not nervous. Because even if I was in my own house sitting on my couch right now, I would be about this outnumbered by women. So I've got 2 daughters, 1 wife. The combination seems to work out better that way, numbers-wise. 2 daughters, 1 wife, and a girl dog. So, you know, again, I've gotten pretty used to being outnumbered severely, although I can say about a year ago, we were blessed with our first boy, and he just turned 1. And I was mentioning to some of the ladies that he does have some problems, though. He seems to eat everything. His name is Cooper. And I got a boy dog just to even things out. Now we weren't necessarily the most observant of parents, because I don't wear glasses and my wife doesn't wear glasses, but Delaney's eyesight was 80-20. So you make me feel worse. Delaney's eyesight was 80-20, which means what the average person can see from 80 feet away, Delaney couldn't see from 20 feet away. Now here's a poor girl that's got doorknob dents in her forehead, and we're like, that's just Delaney. As a matter of fact, even now, and I'll tell you how the story resolves in a minute, but even now, when Delaney was younger, we'd be upstairs and you'd hear like a I'm okay! That was Delaney's battle cry, and it is still now. But so the girl's bumped and bruised, and we're like, you know what, she's just that kid. You know, we didn't know that she actually couldn't see the thing she was smashing into, but we've since figured that out. So anyway, we had to get her some glasses. So we went to one of the glasses in about an hour places, and we took her prescription. And here's my wife all sweating it out. She's like, oh my gosh, she's going to have these big Coke bottle glasses with the big eyes, and she's starting kindergarten, and everybody's going to make fun of her. This is horrible. She's stressing out, so we had to get her the really good lenses so they don't make her have big bug eyes. And I did tell my wife, the only reason that you're nervous about that is because you were the one making fun of the kids with the big frog eyes. And that is true. This is where kind of my wife comes into play. When her way of showing love to the family, for example, now she works full-time, I work full-time, but she gets the house perfectly organized, probably to a fault. Everything's got to be just so. All right? So when I am by no means a slob, kind of messy, kind of throwing beer cans around the house kind of guy. But you know what? Sometimes there might be a pair of jeans on the floor. Well, my wife takes that as a personal assault against the fact that I do everything I can in this house to make it perfect, and you just disregard everything. I'm like, it's been there like literally like 20 seconds. It just hit the floor. They're still moving. They're still falling. So that is part of it. Well, how about Charlie Brown? Probably a lot of S. Now this is my test that you guys passed. Whenever I put a picture on the screen that's an S, everybody goes, aww. And every single time. And now if you're not sure if Charlie Brown's an S, let me tell you this quick story. Charlie Brown. We just had the nice Christmas theme. I'll tie it in. I'm themingizing the whole thing. Charlie Brown's out in the woods themingizing. He goes in the woods out here and he finds this little ratty, ugly little Christmas tree. And Charlie Brown's like, this is going to be our Christmas tree. So he gets the Christmas tree and he wraps Linus' blanket around it and he starts carrying it down the street and he sees a sign that says Mayberry just ahead. He's taking his little tree, walking the street, and just at that time the whole community of Mayberry is gathered around this big, beautiful 20-foot tree they just all decorated and cut down. The whole town is standing around the tree singing carols. It's a beautiful snow just floating down. And Charlie Brown gets there and he sets the tree down and everybody stops their carols for a second and turns and looks at Charlie Brown. And Charlie Brown says, well, I thought maybe this could be our tree. Tell me that Mayberry would not rip down the big, giant, beautiful tree, put the little, chunky tree in the middle and say, that's what Christmas is all about. Right? Charlie Brown's life would have been so much better had he only lived in Mayberry. He would have been kicking the football. All the good things would have happened. In the 1950s, Walt Disney, they started as a movie company. They made movies is what they did. And they had a series called The True Life Adventures that some of you might remember seeing. And they'd follow an animal around and kind of give it those personal traits. And we're watching Tommy the Lion and he's, his adventures. Well, they made a movie in the 50s called The African Lion. And they followed this family of lions around and told a little story. And Walt thought it was fantastic. He said, when we do this theme park thing, I'd like to have a ride that would kind of highlight that, kind of bring that experience to our guests. And he said, well, what would I like to do is have these animals. Maybe we take a jungle cruise adventure and have all these wild animals where people can actually see them, see the lions walking around. Well, animals, if you've ever been to the zoo, they don't always do a lot of stuff. Lions spend most of the day sleeping, and you're like, can you see? I think there's his ear. You can't see things. Well, Disney didn't want that kind of experience for people. He said, I really want to have these animals. And they're like, well, they're not going to do what you want, Walt. They're not actors. They're not going to come prancing out when the boat comes by. They're going to be sleeping behind a rock or laying down. Really not the adventure that you're looking for. Well, what can we do? Now, again, we think about today's time and what the answers were, and you're like, well, of course that's a common answer. But in these days, there were no animatronics, which is a name for the electronic, robotic-like figures that are in the Magic Kingdom, which is on slide. There's about 1,100 of them throughout. But these hippos right here, someone said, well, we need to have some hippos in the water. So we're talking, well, Magic Kingdom was in the early 70s open, but you're saying, let's build these robots and throw them in the water with rubber skin and make them work every single time, every single day, all day long. You would say there's no way you're going to do it. It just can't happen. But what they managed to do was stock this entire ride with pythons and hippos and crocodiles and elephants that all were just fake. Robotic, but yet real enough that people would say, that is pretty cool. The elephants would spray water every time every boat came by. There was consistency in show. People always got to experience the same thing. It wasn't like, I was here 2 years ago and the elephant stood up. The elephant always stands up. He always comes and blows bubbles at you. Every time. He created, time and time again, his own reality. He never looked to see what other people had done or what was possible that was already out there. He said, this is what I want. How do we do it? If your reality doesn't exist, create it. Personally or learn how to walk. We're giving feedback, and your baby's taking his first wobbly steps, and he's moving like this. We're like, that is fantastic, come on, you can do it. And we're like, come on, take 2 steps, right? And he goes to take the 3rd step, and he falls over. We like, oh my God, you are the dumbest kid ever. You took 1 step, you took 2. How much practice do you need? Keep walking. You're up, you're walking. God, you're stupid. That sounds horrible. But we do it with everything in life. I told you this once, why are you screwing it up again? I'm not going to have to keep telling you, good job, you already did it, I saw you walk. But we don't do that with little babies. We nurture them and kind of keep them coming along. But with our families, with adults, we don't really nurture each other. You go to get your car repaired. So you go to Sonny's Auto Repair. And you go, Sonny, my car, it's been making this clinking sound. I don't know what it is. I'm hoping you help me. Sonny's like, hey, thanks so much for coming here. We value your business and we're glad you're here. Let me take a look at it. We'll get you fixed up, no problem. Matter of fact, how about if I have it back for you in 2 hours? Well, thanks, Sonny. That's great. So Sonny's like, all right, great. Here's a cup of coffee, and here's a sucker for your kid. Again, thanks for coming. Here's a sticker for your fridge. Woo. All right? So Sonny calls you up, and he's like, hey, Mr. Brown, this is Sonny. I just want to call you personally, let you know it's all taken care of, and we saved you a little money off the estimate. Thanks, Sonny. And you come in, you get your car, and he stamps a little happy face on your bill. Here you go, sir. Thanks for coming. Thanks, Sonny. And you get in your car, and you drive away. Clink, 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 clink. You bring it back, and you're like, Sonny, my car's not fixed. Really? I thought we fixed it. You know what? I'm not going to charge you for this. We're going to bring it back in again. I'll tell you what, drop it off at 5 o'clock. Come back and get it in the morning. We'll get it taken care of. Well, I really would have liked you to have it taken care of. We'll take care of you. Anyway, Sonny's all friendly, but he ain't getting it done. Okay? That's great, but I need someone to fix my flipping car. What we want to wind up with is a team of people that have got more smiles than we do frowns, that have more positive attitudes than we do negative attitudes. There is no perfect business. There is no perfect manager. There is no perfect organization. But if we all work together towards some common vision of what we want to be and how we want to do it, we're going to have a much more productive, happy place to work. And the people that are going to come to start working for us are going to become better people, and the people that are already here are going to become better as they stay longer in organization. So my name is Scott Brown. I enjoyed it very much. I hope you guys had a good afternoon, and I'll see you soon. Thank you.